Hello, everybody. This is Pam Holt. I am the happy host, and I'm here today because it's March Adness. That's right. You heard me right. March Adness. And what is March Adness? March Adness is this STR, the short-term rental tournament, where you decide who emerges as the champion. So we've got 16 picks that we're going to go through. There are all sorts of add-ons that hosts can consider to enhance a guest experience. And you will decide as we go through these next couple of weeks who is best, who is the best fit, who has the best add-on service for your hosting strategy. So today I have the pleasure, we're starting off our first analysis of the 16 different picks with personal chef and one of my personal favorites for a top contender, Chef Danyelle Vann, and she's going to talk to us all about adding a personal chef option to your short-term rental strategy. So I'm going to bring her on now, and let's see. She'll connect with us soon. Full disclosure, I have had the pleasure of having Chef Danyelle help me out before. There she is.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. I was just saying that
Thank
I've had the
you.
pleasure of utilizing your services, and it was one of the best things that I've ever done for myself, frankly.
Yay.
Yeah, I recommend a personal chef whenever someone can fit it into their personal life. But if you can make that service available for guests as a host, I can't think of a better way to
I
enjoy
agree.
some time. And so I really want hosts to consider this option for themselves. And I think there's a couple of different ways that they can do it. So I want to talk to you about that. But here's how I would set it up if I were hosting. I would offer guests the option of having a personal chef come in either for one night, maybe a special occasion during their stay, if someone was having a birthday or an anniversary or some sort of special celebration. Maybe a lot of the guests that I get are travelers in for conferences. So maybe the last day of the conference, you bring in Chef Danyelle. She, lays it all out for you. You have a feast. Nobody's in the kitchen except her, unless they want to be. And at the end, everybody celebrates. The other way you could do it is you could prepare something fresh and new for them every single time. That's balling. I love that idea. I would love
I
to have that
agree.
happen. Or I've also seen it where a chef will come in and they'll prepare several meals. And so then the guests have them, waiting for them, and they warm them up, or they add to them, or they
Definitely.
plate them during the week. But you've come in and you've created a menu and a whole, a whole display for them, an array of food that they
Yes.
can have during the week. So thanks for joining. Let's start with you.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Yes,
so
so
happy to be here.
it's so great to see you again. So you're in California now.
I am. I am. I left the Chicago weather the last time I was in Chicago. It was 50 below, and
Yes,
I'm now
yes.
officially a California girl after that.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say that's great for you. For those of us who are still here, it is cold and rainy, and it snowed yesterday, and it's gonna be 60 degrees on the weekend. So
Oh, wow. I
it's a,
still love home, though. I still love home. I still come back home and I still have a few clients at home. So I
okay.
still love Chicago, always home.
It's hard to not love it, but the winters, that's getting harder and harder every year. I gotta tell you.
It's
I gotta
it's
tell you.
very true. And after being in the sunshine, I couldn't dare come back and deal with those winters.
Yeah.
I'm a wimp now to the cold.
Well, we hope that you come back sometime because I would love to offer your services to guests that I might have coming to stay with me.
Definitely.
So, how would you, if you were working with a host, how would you approach um, working in with them business wise? Like, do you like the idea of cooking one time and having, several meals available? Do you prefer to come in as a sort of special occasion um, guest
Okay.
enhancement, or how would you like to do it?
Well, it's totally dependent on the guest to me. So I customize myself to what the guest needs are. And of
Okay.
course, the guest's budget as well.
Okay.
I personally prefer to come and to prepare you a fresh meal daily. I've had clients, I'm sorry, I've had clients come to Temecula here in California, and they'll actually have me stay with them for their week stay. And
Ah.
I would prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner for my clients. This
Oh
takes
my
the stress.
goodness.
Yes, it's so, not to mention Temecula is beautiful, but it takes the stress off of my clients. They don't have to worry about shopping. They don't have to worry about what they're going to eat. Especially when there are women in the group, we all have different taste buds. We all want different things. And you have a chef there that we've kind of had these conversations before they've arrived to their event, and I have everything prepped and ready to go to prepare their breakfast, lunch, and dinner from the choices that they've selected.
Oh goodness.
Everything
So
with,
hold on, hold on.
mhm,
So ahead of time, you work
yes,
on specific menus. Do you provide suggestions and they approve them, or do they provide, this is what we want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or how do you work together on that one?
definitely. So once again, it's dependent on the client. I have some clients who are very strict on what they want to eat because either they're gluten free
Okay.
or they're on a certain diet. So I follow those guidelines. I
Okay.
have some clients that come in and they're like, these are, I always ask their dislikes first, their dislikes and their allergies.
Okay.
And from there, if they give me free range of the menu, I just try to create those different flavors and things that would, make it enjoyable for them. So I totally customize everything per client. If
Okay.
a client would like for me to supply them with menus, I can do that. But I try to get an understanding of my client so that I could better service them and make those things that are their favorites or the different cuisines that pleases their palates.
Wow, that I can't even tell you. That sounds like that's otherworldly as far as I'm concerned. So, as host, I would have to suggest to you if you could offer something like this to your clients, to your
Yes,
guests, you will differentiate your listing in a way that I haven't seen done. I haven't seen it done. I've seen a couple of people do it on special requests, but I haven't seen it as a part of a description in an Airbnb kind of situation. And there's lots of
yes,
ways you can price this. So I don't want hosts to
yes,
think that, you know, that they're stuck in doing it one way because they could include it just as this is what we do and this is part of our
yes.
nightly rate and you
Hmm.
get these services, or they could, the guest could pay a separate fee that they
Yes.
add on to the overall nightly rate and the fees and the Airbnb fee, all the other fees, and it's just one more fee like the cleaning fee. Or there can be, they could do like instead of having you stay, although that having you stay there part is that's just the next level. But they could just do pick and choose maybe different meals or different days that they wanted to have someone come in.
Definitely, definitely. Um, I agree with you.
Okay, so in these scenarios, you do all the shopping, the grocery shopping, ahead of time and you bring it with you, or how does that happen?
Well, after the menus are planned and we agree upon a menu, I do all of the shopping. I try to shop as close to the event as possible
Okay,
because I pride myself on using organic or ingredients, fresh farm to table ingredients,
nice.
and proteins that are fresh, not frozen proteins that are thought out and then made for our clients. Also in Temecula, I have contracts with different farmers and just different, um, I'm drawing a blank here, I'm sorry,
Vendors, food vendors. Okay.
farmers markets, so that I could obtain fresh produce and fresh
Oh,
vegetables.
fabulous.
Of course, for breakfast, those things I always buy ahead of time because it's breakfast and there's really no fresh produce and breakfast. So I try to buy as many fresh products as possible, giving my clients quality over quantity.
Okay. And so ideally for you, does it does it matter how many guests there are? Because my average, I usually have about 6 guests at a time. Is it more comfortable for you if they're just 2 people? Does a crowd matter? How do you like to work?
So I will service up to 14 to 15 guests with an assistant. When
Okay.
it is me by myself, because we're in the time of COVID,
Mm,
I will take care of anywhere from 1 to 8 guests alone.
okay. Well, that's interesting. How has COVID affected how you conduct your business?
COVID has actually spiked my business instead of my business decreasing. And I'm
Great.
sure that's because a lot of clients, they cannot go out to restaurants,
Mm.
or it's just the new vibe of the restaurant that is just isn't fitting for them anymore. And because we've been sheltered indoors, a lot of us have become baby hermits now. So it's
How do you know that about me? Stop it.
so people have anxieties actually about coming out
I
outside,
know,
right?
I know.
So
I feel like I have to overcome, this sort of comfort that has, happened over the last year, and I have to leave the house now, and I have to get ready for that again, and I'm
yes.
excited on one hand, but the other hand, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's out there now. So yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yes. So a lot of clients are actually staying home. They're doing their events at home. They're eating
Nice.
outdoors on their patios and in their gardening areas now. So
Okay.
that's actually been something that's benefited me greatly. I've obtained and had the opportunity to meet a lot of new people just through going to their homes and providing this experience.
Mm. That's
I,
a great way to phrase it too. It's an experience. So when hosts
yes,
are writing their description, it's more than just she's going to bring groceries and cook dinner. It is a whole
no,
fabulous
it's a
sensory
total
luxury
experience.
experience. And I part of what I enjoyed most about having you come to my home was being and you probably didn't like this, but being in the kitchen and watching you and seeing you do your thing. I mean, I love to see it when professionals, do what they do. And,
Yes.
you're in there and I have to cook 3 meals a day for the people in my family. And so,
Mhm.
I can cook, but you're in there cooking. And I'm like, look at this. And so really it's educational. It's almost a performance, and then
Yes.
it is an experience, and that's how I would want hosts to describe it in their listing.
It's
You
an
know,
art.
yeah, oh, it's an
It's
art. So
artistry.
yeah, I want them to use those kinds of descriptive words because use
Definitely.
it in your headline, use it in your description, have photos, have your
Yes.
photo, have food photos, and really build it up. And I assure you, then when guests are, going through the whatever 50 listings that they look at before they decide on your listing, you will stop them in their tracks
Right.
with a lovely photograph of your food, dressed and plated and laid out. Who doesn't want that?
My culinary artistry, right? And I
Absolutely.
think it's very important when we're going through and we're looking through a book of chefs, it's important to reach out and have that connection with that chef.
Oh,
You want
nice.
to have someone that kind of meshes with your personality and your character, someone that you feel comfortable with. A lot of my clients have told me, I have quite a few doctor clients, and
Hmm.
they've said to me, oh, you're family now. So when you have someone that comes into your home and they take over your kitchen and they're in your cupboards and they're in your
Right,
refrigerator,
right.
they're
It's a
family
pretty
at that
intimate
point.
experience, right?
It is
It
a
really
very
is.
intimate experience, and you have to be comfortable with
Yes.
the person that is in your home
I agree.
during that time.
I think that's a really good point. So, are you
Yes,
suggesting then that hosts interview more than one chef before they make a determination of who they're going to offer to the guests?
definitely. But once you
Okay.
interview me, you never go past me. For Mrs. Obama, the 6 NATO wives and 1 NATO husband from around the world. If
Oh,
I can
wow.
create
And
artistry
Pam,
for
you didn't put me
them,
in there. And Pam, and I went to Pam's house too.
Pam, there's no one. Pam, I so enjoyed. I did your birthday right? I did an
You did,
intimate birthday
yes.
event with you. And
It was
then
fabulous. Which I gave
it was,
myself. I was like, "Happy birthday, Pam.
and you
This is what
deserve
you
it.
deserve." Yes,
You
and I'm
deserve
still
it,
talking
Pam.
about it.
You're
I'm
such a hardworking woman. You deserve it.
I mean, this was probably 7 years ago. And I'm
Yes.
telling you, I still talk about it like it happened on my last birthday. I'm like, yeah, I did this thing. They're like, I think you told me that 7 years ago, but it was fantastic. I can't wait to do it again.
Yes.
And I think guests are going to have the same response. But then, because it was so great, I had you come back again. You were so gracious to come back and prepare a meal for my entire family.
Yes.
And this was super special. I don't even know, and I don't make me cry on this show. This was a gathering we had. My dad was going in the next
Yes.
day for heart surgery.
Yes.
And I had my entire family come and join us that evening,
Yes.
and so that we could lift him up and so that he would go into this procedure knowing that he was loved.
Yes.
And you came by and we had a great time.
We had a ball, Pam.
We had gumbo. We had all his favorite foods, right? So
We
this is why it
did.
was so special. You were gracious enough to accommodate all his favorites. So he wanted gumbo. We had peach cobbler. We
Yes.
did. We had multiple.
We had greens.
We had.
We had the
Yeah, you have good
special
memory.
sweet potatoes
Yeah.
with the marshmallows on top because that was something that your
Yes.
family loved
You
from your
like, look,
childhood. I
I'm
have
only
an
doing this for
excellent
you all
memory,
because
Pam.
I'm not trying to put marshmallows on my food that I serve, but I'm
It
like,
was
my
so
dad was
special
really
to
into it.
me
Oh,
because
Dad, that's so
we were
nice.
on the second floor, right? I was
Right,
cooking on the second floor.
right.
And you shared with me that your dad really doesn't come up to the second floor because of his heart surgery
He
and
was
other
at,
things that he was dealing with. And
mm-hmm,
you had stepped out for a while. And when you came home, your dad was upstairs having a conversation with me in the kitchen. And you said,
chatting
I
it up.
can't believe he's up here. I have a wonderful memory.
Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. That was very meaningful for me, and so
Yes.
I appreciate it. So you hold a special place in my heart forever and ever.
Thank you.
But in terms of guests and hosts
Hmm.
providing this kind of memorable experience, I'm telling you, the reviews that you get from bringing in and having this service available for guests are just going to be off the charts because
Yes,
just like I had a memorable experience, they're going to have their own different kind of memorable experience.
definitely.
And they're going to rate you high. They're going to be back the next year. They're going to be talking about where is Chef Danyelle because I'm not coming if she's not going to be there. And it will be sort of a snowball effect, and you can become known for having that service and differentiate
Definitely.
yourself in a way that your next door neighbor trying to run an Airbnb.
Wake up in the morning, Pam. That's what I wake up to do. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy creating artistry. So that's what's inside of me. That's my DNA. That's my dynamic. But on the flip side of that, the most important part of everything to me is creating that memorable moment.
Nice.
Those moments of making my host look super spectacular in front of their guests. We add value. Personal chefs add value to events, to
Absolutely.
yeah, to anything. We take that stress off of the host. They trust us. They've talked to us. They know that
Hmm.
we're going to put on this spectacular culinary show.
Make them look
But
good.
we're gonna. I make my host look awesome. Awesome. I have a special niche, which is bed and breakfast. And I call this 101 to getting out of the doghouse. And
Okay. Okay. I know where this is going.
a lot of
I know
husbands,
where this
okay,
is going.
some women too, some women too, but they'll leave the key on their sleeping and I bring it up to
Okay.
their bedroom. You can
Okay.
be mad after that. If
Okay.
you're mad after that, I don't know.
That is crazy. Now you got to be
Yes.
careful because in Chicago, somebody coming up to your bedroom that you didn't expect, that could be, you got to watch out with that. But that's the most spectacular idea I've ever heard. Oh, and
Yes.
they're having breakfast in bed?
They're having breakfast in bed, and I
Come
clean up
on.
the kitchen. I leave it just as immaculate as I found it, or even cleaner. And then I just disappear like a fairy in the
Oh,
night,
you like a culinary fairy,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I'm like a culinary fairy. Or one of my clients told me, he said, you're like the ninja chef. You get in and you get
Oh, you
out.
still, huh? Okay.
I said, I've done 3 of these for you already. After this, I'm going to suggest counseling. It isn't going
Right.
to
He better get it
work.
together. Hold on. He better get it together, or he better, pad that bank account because
Right.
it's just Chef
Right.
Danielle's moving in. That's a
Yes.
great one. I hadn't even thought of anything like that, but that's for guests who might be coming, having an anniversary or a special, any kind of special occasion, to have someone, prepare breakfast unbeknownst to you and bring it to you in bed. Oh my goodness.
Yes. And being in California, because of course it's legal, I have clients that I infuse their foods. I have a client who's 9 years old and she suffers from seizures. And
Mm.
of course, she cannot smoke cannabis. So I
Mm-hmm.
infuse cannabis into her milk, into
Wow.
her pasta sauce, into her macaroni and cheese sauces, and
Oh,
it helps
fabulous.
regulate the number of seizures that she have. I also have clients with MS that I
Mm-hmm.
provide that service for as well.
I've heard both of those particular syndromes benefit really well from infused um, foods
Yes,
and cannabis as a source of as medication. And uh,
definitely.
and so if you were preparing meals for a host, and assuming it's everything is legal in your state, because of course we want to do that,
Hmm.
and guest request infused menus, is that something you would also offer for them?
Definitely.
Okay.
I would, of course, make their food separate. It could be the same food, but I'm very familiar with dosing the proper
Okay.
dosages because we don't
Okay.
want them passed out sleep and miss the meeting or the
Right.
party.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I
Right.
dose their food appropriately where everyone can have what they ordered. Some people can partake in cannabis, some people cannot for lots of
Okay.
reasons. So yes, I
Okay.
do that as well.
Well, that's wonderful. Okay, so talk to us a little bit about, you don't have to get into the specifics unless you want to, but how do you price these kind of different scenarios for hosts, so that they
Definitely.
will then know how to price it, whether it's, sort of an a la carte thing like we talked about, or whether it's built into the nightly, which is kind of what I like because then it
Hmm.
doesn't, you don't really feel it as much.
Exactly.
Um, but they're host. The beauty of hosting is that you can conduct your business in whatever way you want and whatever way resonates with your guests. So how do you price so that they can then price?
So, I once again, I know this word customizable. I'm gonna have to put a spin on it so I can coin it. I customize everything to
Okay.
my host. I So a base price, we have a base price that we start off at for a number of people. And
Okay.
from there, it's either you want premium ingredients, organic ingredients, or
Nice.
you'll tell me this is my budget. Like I have some clients, they'll say, look, I'm not having an event for my doctor friends. I'm having an event for my childhood friends. So
Okay.
I'd like a menu that's kind of lower on the budget scale. So I work with their budget to
Okay.
create an event for them that still shines and make them look good, but also I'll work with their pockets.
Okay. So do you do the events that we've had together? The party was kind of a buffet situation almost,
Yes.
but the birthday party was the gold plated thing. It was,
Yes.
I was like, it's my birthday. How do you generally, are you serving? Is it serve yourself? How do you usually set that up?
So with the buffet, we like to call that buffet or family style.
Okay.
So with family style, everyone is pretty much serving themselves. It's
Okay.
a family event, right?
Hmm.
Um, with the kind of intimate events, I'm doing the serving, or I will have a server serve our couples or those whom are having an intimate event. And I'll
Mm.
come out and give a description of what's being prepared and disappear back into the kitchen to start on the next course. So
Love
it's
it.
kind of putting that special touch to let one know what they're eating and the love and care that was put into it and into the plating. and just making the host look good. So
Wow.
sometimes, yeah, it's really special to have that server come out and serve you, especially when you work so hard. When we work in the service industry,
Mm.
sometimes you just want to sit back and be pampered as well. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to pamper you.
Well, I wish you were here right now. I'm telling you, it has been really fun talking to you. I can't recommend you highly enough. And
Thank you.
if there are people who are in your area who want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Yes. So I'm in Orange County, but I also travel to LA County and also San Diego County,
Okay.
just so that everyone knows to put that out there. You can contact me at pleasurepalettes.com,
Okay.
and also on Instagram at Pleasure Palette Life. That's
Okay.
pleasurepalettelife.com
Life.
and
Life.
Pleasure
Uh-huh.
Palette, Life, and
Hmm.
Pleasure I'm sorry, Palette, Plate, because sometimes people spell the other palette and they're like, we can't find you.
Oh, no, no,
So
no. They
it's
got to find you.
right. So it's not the paint palette, it's the taste palette. So pleasurepalettelife.com and Pleasure Palette. And
There
I
you go.
also travel. So if anyone in Chicago or anyone else, anywhere else, if you have an event, I get so excited about food, I get tongue tied. So if you're anywhere else, I can also travel to you to create that experience for you because it's truly an experience. Chef, we're people pleasers. And the more pleased that we see that you are, the more that we give of ourselves.
See, and hosts are people pleasers. So that's why
Exactly.
this collaboration works so well in my mind. So I'm
Yes.
thinking the next time I have, because I have, like I said, I do the conferences a lot. I have physicians that come in town to go to McCormick Place for the conference. You know, I'm going to tell them I can bring in this personal chef. I'll fly her in. You guys, you have your, doctor dinner situation, and it will, they'll never forget it. They'll
Pam,
never
I
forget it.
would definitely always be there for you. I had a group that couldn't get out for Valentine's Day, and the husband was a doctor and he loved this restaurant that I won't name. But I made them bone in ribeye steaks. And the wife, she came and she got me, and her husband was crying. He said, this steak tastes better
See, they
than the
sound like me.
one. He said it tastes better than the one I was trying to get to at the restaurant. I thank you so much. I was so just blown away and just so happy. I slept like a baby that
Okay,
night.
I want to let you go and be respectful of your time, but I got to ask you this: if
Yes,
I told you that I plan to host 6 guests, they're
yes.
traveling in town for a conference, they want to do one celebration kind of meal. I want you to
Hmm.
come in. What would you? And I know this is just off the top of your head. What kind of menu would you suggest? I just love to hear about food. I love to hear
Hmm,
us. I like to talk about it. I like to
definitely.
look at it, and I want to hear just what kind of things would you think about in terms of a menu for that type.